Hello, and welcome to Chapter 2, so the lecture for class number 2, and we're going to talk about identifying data problems. So again, it's a short lecture. Starting next week, we'll get to be a little bit longer because we're going to be working in R, so it'll be very interesting. So one thing I wanted to point out is that in the syllabus originally I had assignment 1 for this class. It's actually for next week, so I moved it on the syllabus and I moved it in e-learning, so we don't have to do assignment 1 today. So I'll talk more about that at the end of the lecture. Let's get started. So today's chapter is going to go into the following learning objectives. We're going to talk about describing and assessing possible strategies for identification of problems. We're going to explain how to leverage subject matter experts. Okay, because those are the people that we want to talk to. We're going to examine and identify the exceptions when we do talk to those subject matter experts, and we're going to illustrate how data science might be useful. Last class we talked about data a bit. Now, hopefully you've realized that it's not all just sitting in front of a computer. What data scientists do is that you're going to analyze the data that's given to you. Now, that data is usually used to solve some other person's problems, so you become the problem solver. The best way to get all the information needed, which is sometimes more than just the numeric data, is to put yourself in the position of whomever that problem belongs to. This is all about connecting data science to those real world problems that it is actually solving. Data scientists are not only going to look at numbers and use R or Python, but they're going to understand the problems and the context. To do this, we ask questions. There are 3 types of questions that you can ask that's going to help you gather that data. First, you're going to talk to those subject matter experts, or sometimes they're called SMEs. Then you're going to want to find those anomalies or unusual things that happen, whether they're good or bad. You want to find those outliers. And then finally, you're going to ask about any of the hardships, the risks, the uncertainty, or where those things happen, because that's going to give you some good information too. Using this 3-step process of questioning, you should be able to gather all the information that you need to help you solve that problem. First, let's look at talking to those subject matter experts. These are the people that are closest to the problem and can easily help identify the actual problem at hand. People think in stories, and stories provide both information and context. So get some stories from your SMEs, but the only problem is that stories are subjective, okay? And you need to verify what is being said. So find aspects of those stories that can be quantified or measured, and then verify that your data has been collected accurately. So be careful though not to question the accuracy of that subject matter expert, as you work to verify the data that they gave you. You don't want to discredit someone's story. That is their perspective on something. All you can do is quantify that information that you got out of the story and then verify the correctness of it. Next, look for those exceptions. Now, don't judge if they're good or bad. You need to gather information on either side. The most typical cases that are going to occur, and those easy ones to identify, are going to be your center cases, right? What we're looking for here are those outliers or extreme cases, the ones that are not going to occur every single day, but they do happen. You do need to have a good understanding of what that center case is going to look like in order to be able to identify those outliers, okay? Once you find an unusual outlier, then you can focus your attention to try to understand why it's an anomaly. The last strategy is to ask questions in order to find out about the risk and uncertainty. Remember, on the basic ideals of data science is to reduce the uncertainty in your data. Whenever we make a decision, we can use that data to determine the risk or the benefit. A lack of data means increased uncertainty and reduced ability to make optimal decisions. Data is then applied to solve those real world problems by reducing that uncertainty and therefore the risk. That is going to allow for better decision making. What we want to do is to narrow things down to get the best possible outcome while also minimizing the ability to get a bad outcome. You can apply these questioning models to so many different situations, okay, to improve the data that needs to be analyzed. Data science can be used in so many different industries. So professionals and companies use data science to mine information and apply it to business decisions. It can be used for by a farmer for weather information and how the weather is going to affect their crops. It could be used as a banking decision for a credit history for a loan, or a company deciding on which ads and how marketing they should buy into and show you online. And those are just a few. So again, super short lecture, but so much information that we need to go forward. So we talked about the possible strategies to identify problems. We talked about how to talk to those subject matter experts and what to do and what not to do. We talked about the importance of identifying and understanding those exceptions and those outliers. And then we lastly talked about how data science might be useful. So coursework for this week. It's been an easy peasy week for everybody. It's going to be great. Yay. One thing I messed up. I apologize. Assignment 1 is actually in R, and I noticed it about 5 minutes before I recorded this. So it is not due this week. It is pushed to next week. So hopefully that's okay with everybody. The only thing for this week is the final project indicator, whether you're going to do it as a pair or individually, and that can be submitted on the e-learning platform. And so just ignore the assignment number 1. I'm going to move it in e-learning. I'm going to update the syllabus and put that in there as well and correct that one assignment. The rest of them should be fine. So easy peasy, and I will see you guys next week. Next week we are going to be covering 3 different chapters in the week, and the first one is kind of a doozy with installing and learning how to use R. So until next week, bye.